What is going on, everybody? Welcome to a Chaseontwowheels first ride here at Mountain Motorsports. And today, the 2016 new baby Grom is getting the first ride. And we're in highlighter yellow, so this is going to be fantastic. We got to get this thing started. Oh man, the little Grom. Oh, it's so tiny. Oh, I have missed this bike. For you guys that have been sub for a while, you know that I rode a Grom a while back ago. Long time ago. And that bike was phenomenal. I had a really good time on it. They have gotten much more popular throughout the years. And now they have a new model. The seat feels kind of weird if you don't sit on it right. Oh my god, at the start switch. You could be blind and know how to start this bike. Oh my gosh. If you guys don't know, the Grom is like a tiny... It's not a pit bike, but I don't even know what Honda officially calls it. It's tiny though. Like, you guys need to go see it in person. And it's almost tiny to a joking point. The Grom is, it has this toy mentality. But you can just ride the hell out of it and have a really good time. But it's a little 125cc engine. It ain't going nowhere quickly. What it lacks in engine size, it far makes up in fun factor. These have been really popular in the motovlogging group of people because they're cheap and they're fun, and you can just rag them out. And you can actually, like, if you have a group of people you're riding with, you can have a really good time on a set of Groms. I'm full throttle right now, by the way, going 46. And you know what? Oh, that wasn't even 6th gear. Hell yeah! It's like, look ahead of me. You see nothing. I can look down, and just then you start seeing a bike on a horizon. Otherwise, you just look ahead, and it's just you. You on your tiny little Grom. All right, let's see if the mirrors are worth the crap. Now, the mirrors have to stick out a far way because, like, your body is wider than the bike, so the mirrors have to stick out farther past that. It's so nimble. It's so just... It's a toy, man. If this is your only bike, then, you know, power to you, but you got to know, having a little Grom, you're not going to be able to go on the highway. I might go to the highway just to do it, but that is ill-advised. I don't even know if it's legal to do that, but we're going to do that regardless. I really don't recommend it as a main bike simply because of that highway reason, but as a second bike or a bike to play around with, there are plenty of awesome videos of guys that have Groms and ride them around like all the time, all over their towns, and they have a phenomenal time with them. You can wheelie them and just, oh wow, the brakes are garbage. Typically, when a bike is in first gear and you press it down, you feel some type of like pushback, like some type of like force into letting you know that there's no more gears. This just clicks. There's nothing. I don't really like that. So when you're coming down the gears and you're getting into first, you don't really know you're in first until you're like, oh, am I? Okay, cool. Another fantastic thing about Groms is the gas mileage. I think they get like 125 miles per gallon or some crazy number like that. It's insane. Oh man, around town, these bikes are so fun because they're just tiny. Oh, that's the horn. They're just tiny. They give you that pure fun factor. That something, it's kind of something you get when you get a supermoto. You got this highlighter yellow. If you guys saw the cinematics, look at the freaking calipers. They are red, like red. The same as red. They're about the same size as that little switch too. I don't know a good way to describe the feeling you get on a Grom. You get the same thing on the Z125. You get the same thing on the older Groms. There's this just like, you feel like a kid, man. You really feel like a kid. And if you have a couple friends and you all have Groms, then you are going to have such a good time riding together. So sitting on it, I mean, with it being such a tiny bike, you are hardcore upright, and your arms are almost at like a computer desk kind of situation where your arms are just at 90 degrees holding the bars. Your back's upright, your legs are hardcore bent. You guys can see my legs. So with it being so tiny, you can just whip it around with no problem, and it takes zero force to get this bike to whip around. One thing I'm noticing about this Grom that I don't remember in the old one is, so the seat in the beginning goes flat and then kind of comes up, and then it's like you can't sit farther back on the seat because you hit this like little hump. You can sit on top of the passenger seat essentially, and you can just sit up top. That's possible, but it doesn't. I feel too far away from everything. I wish the horn and the blinkers would switch places. They don't really feel like they're in the right spot. Yeah, I am totally sitting wrong on this bike right now, but that's okay. You know why? Because it's freaking Grom. You can do whatever you want. Now, one problem that the Z125 had when I rode it was that the handlebars would sometimes touch my legs if I was in a slow speed maneuver and I had the handlebars cranked all the way over. You can see the handlebars on the Grom much higher. I don't think that's going to be a problem on this bike. I don't know, man. I'm kind of sitting up on the passenger seat, and it's actually more comfortable than the other seat. I kind of like it. I have like a higher, I'm more upright. One thing I'm not liking is there's rubber. You can see the rubber on the pegs. I don't like that. It doesn't, the rubber's moving around on me a little bit, and it kind of gives me some, like an insecure feeling. Yeah, so let's put my leg up, just simulate riding. Yeah, so if I go all the way over, it will hit my leg. You can see that. But comparatively to the Z125, man, this one's not bad at all. Blinkers actually have a really good tactile feel. When you get over to the end, it clicks and then it throws itself back. That feels good. I approve, Honda. Good job on your blinkers. Alright, full speed, baby. Woohoo! Let's go. Let's go. Alright, we're in, oh my god, oh Jesus. Alright, we're on the rear pegs. We're on the rear seat. Alright, we are in full tuck, ladies and gentlemen. Full freaking tuck. 57 miles an hour. By the way, I do not recommend this bike for a highway vehicle. You are seeing why. We are capping out at 60 miles an hour. That being said, it is still hilarious. Holy crap. Hold on, we're gonna get to the top of this hill, and then I think the downhill, we should be able to get up to probably like 65, hopefully. This isn't the turn lane, right? Okay, thank God. We're almost to the downhill. Straddling 61 and 62. Here we go, we're officially in the downhill. We've hit 62, 63. Come on, baby. I'm not seeing more than 63. I can't tuck in anymore. 64, 64, 65. We are in the rev limiter, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to do another shift. There's nothing there. The van to my left is racing us, but we are doing the speed limit. Nothing great, but I mean, alright, I think that guy knows me. He probably doesn't know me. The one time you see me on the road and it's on a freaking Grom on the highway, bless you, my friend. Alrighty, well, that was the highway on a 2016 Honda Grom. It was pretty abysmal, as expected. So it can be done. It can totally be done, but not recommended at all. What's up, man?
Hell yeah, awesome.
You caught me struggling on the highway. Nice running into you.
Yeah, man.
Alright, man, well, take it easy, alright? So that was cool, getting spotted in the first ride. Shout out to you, sir. Yeah, the more I ride this, man, the more I don't like the seat. It's hard on the sides, that like is uncomfortable on the side of your legs. It's not the best of things. That's one thing that's awesome about this Grom, is with it being a highlighter yellow, it makes it easier to see you. And when you're on a regular Grom, they're so tiny, like people don't see regular size bikes, so when it comes to like a tiny bike, it's very easy to like not see somebody. You know, you're not going to be able to do any type of commuting on this bike, not that you'd want to. Granted, this bike comes in brand new around the 3,000 mark, so I mean, for a bike you can't get on the highway with, that might be a little expensive, but you can have so much fun on these little things. I really feel like it's worth it. I love being so low to the ground. Like I feel so safe moving this bike around, and it's a featherweight. There's literally no weight to it. There's only a select few bikes where the engine size just doesn't matter, and the Grom is hardcore one of those bikes. You know, one thing I see a lot of people say about the Grom and stuff like that is it's basically just like a tiny bike, and honestly I disagree with that. This does not feel like a miniature motorcycle. It feels like it's in its own little class of bike. The shifting is different, the body position is just so miniature and weird. It just doesn't feel the same as you would feel on a bike. See, like areas like here where you're just cruising around back streets and stuff, I feel like that is where it's so much fun to have a Grom, because you can do whatever you want. Like, you can go on sidewalks and not really feel bad about it. People think they're hilarious. I know the Z125 inches the Grom out in all aspects. The suspension is a little bit better. The engine is a little bit better. It's just, Kawasaki was basically like, the only way we can outdo the Grom is by technically outdoing it in every aspect. Alright, we're gonna try to get this little front wheel up. There we go. Okay. Alright, we're getting there. You just gotta use your weight a lot. This is what I'm talking about. Just having a really good time with such tiny wheels and a short wheelbase. You get into a tiny area like this, good times are hard to not come by. It's almost like the Grom makes a normal riding situation a lot more fun because of how tiny it is. It's like a two-wheel joke of a thing that you can just have a great time on. Anybody you go and talk to that has a Grom, that has friends that have Groms, and they ride together, you can ask any of them and I promise you they will tell you they have a good time on their Grom. It's when you have a Grom and you're like the only guy around that has a Grom and you don't have anybody to ride with, that's when I can see a Grom getting kind of boring for people. But you just convince your buddies to get Groms, and dude, you'll have a great time. Speaking of people that really enjoy their Groms, there's a local guy here named Faith Riding Johnny. He has a YouTube channel. He has a Grom and he has it raced out, so he actually like will take it around a go-kart track and knee drag with the thing. This is a Grom that he's doing this stuff with. It's the stuff you can do on these little things is phenomenal, man, and they can be such fun bikes. And I know Johnny has gone up to the mountains with buddies with Groms before. I don't even gotta ask him, but I know that has got to be the most fun thing, because you're all on these little tiny bikes that can barely go up a hill, and it's hilarious and fun at the same time. Oh, that's the horn. See, I don't want the horn there. I want it switched places with the freaking turn signal. This cop has got to be looking at me like, what the hell are you doing? Now, this is where the Grom truly comes into its own. is a parking lot. What's also awesome about a Grom is it's so quiet. It's just, you can't even hear it. even at full throttle, you still can't hear this little thing. All right, let's park it up and take a gander at the little Grom. Look at the turning radius. I can just skirt. Alrighty, 2016 Honda Grom. 125cc engine, looks like a freaking, what's it called? It looks like a lawnmower engine was just shoved into it. Now, here's where the Grom wins for me versus the Z125. Those new headlights. Now, compare those headlights to what the Dead Space Carrier looks like. Do you see the similarity? We got that neon color scheme. Look at the rear caliper and the front caliper. Now, keep in mind, just because those things are bright red does not make them work well. Got the tiny little exhaust. It actually looks a lot bigger on this little thing. I hate swing arms that look like this. I don't know why. I have no reason to. They just look low quality. Look at the shock. Oh my gosh. Half the size of the bike is here in the tail. Chop that thing off, please God. Look how tiny the wheels are. Like legit, the wheel doesn't even come up to my knee. Alright, so I'm going to crank it up and let you guys listen to the bike. But beforehand, I got to remind you that if you want to see the blog post that I do for all the first ride bikes, go over to chaseontwowheels.com. High definition photos, an audio clip with a nice audio recorder that you can hear the bike, how it sounds a little better. And I rate the bike and all that kind of stuff. So you want to check that out, chaseontwowheels.com. But let's get this thing cranked up. I can't get over that kill switch. All right. Look at the brake. That's hilarious. Do you see the rubber here? Do you see what it does? It's just squishy. And I can tell that when I ride. I don't like that a lot. I don't like that at all, actually. It is what it is. You can get different foot pegs. It would be hilarious if there was no cop in that car and they just left that cop car there during the day so that people would think it's a cop. I can't see past him at all. And we're off. Top speed run. Something in me kind of wants to get a Grom and totally track it out, like make it a track only bike, because here's my mentality. I know that sounds crazy, but listen to my mentality. So with a Grom track bike, you still get all the fun of like leaning off the bike and, you know, knee dragging through turns and stuff, but wheels are smaller, so they won't cost as much. The bike is slower, so there's much less chance for getting hurt if you go down. If you do go down, parts are way cheaper, and you should be able to have just as fun of a time. Granted, it's a different type of fun that you'll be having, but I think you can have an awesome time. Do the headlights look that bluish? I can't tell. The headlights look awesome in the reflection of the car in front of us. I know somebody's gonna ask, and I gotta say, as far as this bike versus the Z125, looks wise, I think I choose the Honda Grom, this one, the new one. Now, everything else wise, I think I choose the Z125. I can tell it performs better. I had a much better time on it than I did on this bike. I think the handlebars and the looks overall are better here, but everything else, man, that Z125 has got it. So at the end of the day, who is the Honda Grom for? Well, it'd be a fantastic bike for your first bike. It'd keep you off the highway, it'd keep you a little safer. You'd be able to ride around town and have a phenomenal time. Would it be fun as your main bike if you have experience? Probably not. I wouldn't recommend it for that. But as a second bike, or hell, a third bike because it's so cheap, phenomenal. You get your main bike where you do your commuting on and all that kind of stuff, and this is your go screw around downtown on the weekends bike. I think that's what this bike is. Or at least if I had a Grom and I didn't track it out, that's what I would do with it. I would, on the weekends, I would take it around town and I would just do hooligan crap with it, because why not? You're on a Grom. You know what I mean? I feel like that's where this bike needs to live. The bike's not too powerful, which also makes it ideal for beginners. It's not gonna be an intimidating thing to ride. And you're gonna be able to just like have pure fun on it. You know, you don't, if you're riding a super sport, you always have that feeling in the back of your head. You're like, man, I really hope I don't wreck this thing, because if I do, it's going to be so expensive. That is non-existent on this bike. And guys, that's going to bring us to the end of the first ride of the 2016 Honda Grom. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to let me know by hitting that like button and subscribing to this channel if you like this type of content. Massive shout out to Mountain Motorsports. They're the guys that let me borrow these bikes and ride them around so I can give you guys my first impressions, so that you can have a more informed buying decision, or it can help you decide what bike you want to go do a first ride on yourself. I appreciate you guys spending some time with me. I'm Chaseontwowheels, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Later. I'm on a tiny Grom and the brakes suck. Oh yeah, the brakes suck. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Alright GoPro, you're done. Bye bye. When I'm headed back, I don't have anything left to say. Left to say. That's why I'm gonna just sing my song. Mustang looks cool. That guy's munching down on a burger.